passion and pageantry of college football lives here. This is the Paul Feinbaum Show, Hour 4 podcast.
This might be college football heaven.
We have one more hour to go. We appreciate you being here. Busy day. Still waiting for word from the SEC. It's been another day of controversy in college football and a day of mourning around the world for the loss of Dolly Parton, who passed away today at the age of 80. Let's get back to the calls here, and AJ is up next in Atlanta.
Hello, Paul. Well, I am a Feinbaum supporter. Not going to ask how you're doing today, because you've already stated 20-plus times you're doing great. The passing of Ms. Parton is definitely sad, disturbing to me. We need more of her in our world. She's a true icon and a person of unbelievable character and goodwill. I called in a few weeks ago for the first time. We discussed the absurdity of having the SEC days down in Tampa. We discussed that. You agreed. But you just summed it all up when you just said the rivalries is not the Oklahoma and Texas. They're not the Michigan, Ohio State. They're not even the Alabama Auburns anymore. It's the Big Ten and the SEC. So, we just need to get it resolved. No other games really mean anything anymore. And let me clarify, too, Paul, if I could, please. This is AJ from Atlanta, not from Pell City, Alabama, so that John from Missouri gets that, okay? I bleed crimson, and I'm an SEC believer. And I would just take this opportunity. I just hope you appreciate what I have to say, and you listening to me. I've got a little bit to say here. I don't want to be too long-winded, but I do have some things to share. I came up with this idea after listening to the show for a long time and now realizing there's such a huge competition between the Big Ten and the SEC, like you just stated. I'd like to throw this idea out. My goal is to getting to the end result, because I'm a resolutionist, of the schedules and overall competitiveness and the SEC and the Big Ten. That would be awesome for college football. They'd be awesome for the SEC Network, ESPN, ABC, and I think CBS now covers the Big Ten, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, correct. You are correct.
They used to cover the SEC, but they lost that contract. So, as you know, Paul, the SEC and the Big Ten kind of rule on the football scene. Maybe the Big 12 with Texas Tech at this point. But actually in other sports as well, with the exception of maybe the ACC in basketball with the SEC-ACC challenge, and I think the Big Ten does something with another conference. Kind of like, the Big Ten SEC challenge on this, what I'm getting ready to throw out, but solely not based on one game, but the entire season. So with all the back and forth between the SEC and the Big Ten, I'm trying to see, hey, let's figure out the better conference and the challenges in their schedules. So why not do something unique? How about an agreement with the SEC and the Big Ten? Go something like this. Both conferences are really good in their sport. So let's just take it as an example. Now, again, this is just an example, and this is this year. So clearly it would never work this year. But, maybe take one school from each conference to play the other school's regular season schedule. But exclude.
Hey, AJ, listen, I apologize for interrupting. I have to, though. The issue here is these two cannot agree on important subjects like the CFP, which is paramount. They will never agree on something like this. I mean, it's a novel idea, the operative word there being novel. Dwayne is up next. Hey, Dwayne, go right ahead.
Hey, I'm also right now. I'm on my rig right now working. Hey, AJ, y'all about to get beat down. Y'all about to get beat in real Death Valley. AJ, stop all that bull. Hey, Paul Farmer, you should have been got AJ off the phone. Thought all that nonsense. So he know they gonna lose. AJ know they gonna lose first game in Baton Rouge. Hey, you too, Paul Farmer. Hey, I'm taking all bets to all y'all suckers out there. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want my phone number? Paul Feinbaum, get him my phone number to him. 985-316-9800.
Johnny B is up next.
You got to give me those last two numbers. You got to give them to me.
I will sell them tonight online at the after hours.
Woo! What a day! What a day! Summerall summed up a whole lot of this. Every day you wake up, if you're a coach, if you're an administrator, whatever, something new's coming down the pipeline. I mean, you brought up betting earlier. Imagine if you've already made a bet on a team to win the SEC or win this, that, and then now our judge makes a ruling, and hey, pro players are going to come join LSU. How's all that going to work? And I mean, it's $1 billion industry. It's crazy as all get out, but it's kind of like the whole, every day we wake up in America, we got a new name for something, a new rule for something. It's pretty bizarre. But I had a couple of the show some things reminding me of Ron Burgundy, and one of them happened to Sankey, but the other one is used to when you were on hold, it would whatever you were hearing as a commercial, but now then it's this jazz flute, and I can see Ron Burgundy busting out under the kitchen table here playing jazz flute any minute, and then Sankey, I can just see him reading all this stuff off some teleprompter, and then they snuck that last thing in on him, and he's like, "What the hell did I just say?" But some kind of clarity has to come about. And you would think, I thought for a long time Sankey had the upper hand on Petiti, but it's been brought up multiple times. Even you said it. They've won more championships, and they appear to be making definitive statements. And I'm kind of just baffled by Sankey with all the fluff. Have you seen that? I mean, it used to. It was the opposite. Have you noticed that though?
Well, first of all, I mean, Johnny, things do go in cycles, and the biggest thing is what's on the field, and I think there is a trickle-down effect. You know it from just life. We look at people differently when they're here versus here, and the thing that bugs me the most is when the league tries to marginalize the end result by saying, "Hey, but we have more players taken in the NFL draft," or "Hey, we're better top to bottom." That doesn't matter. People care about championship. Now, this is a different story. The SEC has always excelled in being at the vanguard of everything, and by the end of the day, I think they will be on the same level. But this has been a very long day if you're an SEC fan.
Yeah, and to me, I always thought if there was anything going to ever happen, we've talked about the fantasy of a separation thing to solve all this legal matters, but he's waited about 2 years too late. To me, our clout seems to have gone down, and I'd have never thought this coming from him. But I appreciate you taking my call, Paul, and you have a good day.
Yeah, and the SEC likes to say, we may not have won the championship, but more people watch us. That's great. You make good television deals, and the deals with the company that we're affiliated with, but the trophy at the end of the year matters most, and there is an open war right now on the SEC from a lot of influence peddlers in this medium. Let's go to an up and coming influence peddler, and that is Bash in Boulder, or wherever he lives these days.
That is one of the most fluff pieces you've ever had. That goes right into what John was talking about yesterday, Paul. Thank you for that. But this is a sad day, nonetheless, that since you're a Tennessee native, Dolly Parton passing away. It's a very sad day, Paul. But I will say this, and I know this is going to piss a lot of Alabama fans off, but I told you yesterday, Paul, that we're going to go 10-2 and make the playoffs this year, and that between that Georgia to LSU stretch, we're going to lose 2 games. I haven't figured out the second loss, but today, Paul, I figured out what one of those losses is going to be. There's no way Alabama is going to roll into Knoxville and beat the Tennessee Volunteers in Neyland Stadium with the spirit and the presence of Dolly Parton just roaming around the entire field, Paul. No way.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the games I see Alabama losing, too. And I said that before, Dolly.
Yes, and now even more so. But answer this for me, Paul, since we know the most important road game on the schedule for Kalen DeBoer is the LSU game, the matchup between the guy Alabama called against the guy Alabama didn't call. But to me, Paul, which one of these other 2 games is the most important that Kalen DeBoer has to win? The game that we just talked about in Knoxville, or the one in the same state but different city in Nashville?
Oh, I mean, the Nashville game doesn't concern me, and I don't want to be the guy, but that will not be an issue. The LSU game is interesting for this reason, Bash. I mean, if Lane Kiffin can keep that locker room together until that game, he might be a candidate for SEC Coach of the Year. But that is his challenge. And LSU in Baton Rouge has never been a problem for Alabama. But a lot of it involves psyche. That LSU team is either going to be rolling into that game where I do see them winning, or they're going to be limping toward the end, and that locker room will be barren by the end of the year with all these guys looking for other deals.
You're right, Paul, but I will remind you that the man that's suing everybody, Jaden Daniels, and the guy that you hate and remember for interviewing every Monday for 3 years, Brian Kelly, they did in their first year. They got it done and beat Alabama in Baton Rouge. So I will say this to you, Paul. You probably said the same thing 2 years ago, but for me as a traumatized Alabama fan at this point, I am going to hate going into Nashville every year now. As long as Vanderbilt has Clark Lee and they're a competitive team in the SEC, Paul, that game, that city is the most terrifying thing on the schedule.
But I'm going to say this, Bash, and let you go. That would be the easiest SEC game of the year for the Crimson Tide. We'll leave it there. Quick break. More to come
State.
Right after this. No, that could be a tough game. We'll be right back.
Come on.
You're listening to the Paul Feinbaum Show podcast.
And Handsome Joe returns to the show.
Roll Tide, roll, Paul Feinbaum. Hey, brother, I'm sorry I couldn't get there. Went to Sheffield yesterday to get an MRI done. Got
really?
there, the machine malfunctioned, so I had to go to a different place and muscle shows a day, which just down the street from Sheffield, as you know.
I know it's none of my business, but what are you checking?
It's my right foot.
Oh, okay.
I'll be honest, I haven't had a, that's the one I've had.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't a neuro scan.
No. Well, I mean, no, some of it is, but they're just looking at the bones and the nerves, because, I shattered a lot of nerves down there when I had my accident. First image I'm going to have of it in 14 years, so I'm kind of looking forward to seeing if they can do anything about it now. But, Paul, every AJ that calls in, it seems like they're living in La La Land, Paul, fantasy land. I mean, this guy from Atlanta, I liked AJ better, the one from Pell City better than that one, because at least he ain't calling up make-believe stuff. He just got that, Auburn, embedded in him, Paul. But you know what? And Bash, come on, Bash, Alabama ain't getting beat by nobody this year. And I'm glad we got Keelan Russell back, Paul. But, we got an adequate backup, too. I think they're both going to get thrown in the fire a little bit. But, but as I was coming back from most of the show today, Paul, I had the radio on. I was listening to your show. I think your show was what I first heard it on. It was kind of staticky, but about Dolly Parton passing away. Yeah. And I had to pull over for a minute just to, I didn't know. I ain't got no stories like that. I've never met the lady. But she's just one of those type personalities that, you just feel like you know her because you've heard of her, and heard her music. And she just kept, she aged gracefully. She just kept going and going and going. And, for years. And I remember I seen a show about how she wrote, when she wrote I Will Always Love You. That's when she was breaking the contract up with Porter Wagner. To leave his show. And but Paul, Dolly Parton, man, I'm just gonna say this, Dolly. Hey, you're the one that we're always gonna love you, and just a lot of memories from all of us of her music and the way she lived her life. I don't remember any scandals or anything like that going on in her life. She was just a free loving, loved everybody kind of person. From what I could tell. Like I said, I've never around her. But
well, Joe, listen. Hey, thank you for the call. Let me. Somebody brought that up, and I double checked it. I Will Always Love You. She's probably had better songs that, Jolene's more famous maybe for her career, but Colonel Parker tried to buy the song, and she was going to let Elvis record it, but Parker wanted half the publishing rights. That song, when Whitney Houston did it in the movie Bodyguard, I believe it sold 40 million records at the time. I don't know if there's ever been anything quite like that in the history of music. Let's check out JD up next. Hello, JD.
Oh, this is JD from All Kick Elliot's Ass to the Curb.com. How you doing?
Doing great.
That was great. That might have been Elliot's best call because it was short. He didn't want to be a Feinbaum caller, so you helped him out with it, huh?
That is correct.
And Handsome Joe don't need no neurological scan. You know that's a waste of money. Absolutely a waste of money, but nah, I'm just kidding. I like Handsome Joe. Hey, I just got a question about these pro players coming back into college. What's to stop some third-year player from foregoing his eligibility going to the draft and then coming back going forward?
Well, I mean, right now, JD, thanks. You might want to check back with me at the end of the day because I don't think it's going to work then. Hey, thanks for the call. John is up next in Louisville.
Good evening, Paul, and prayers for the poor phone operator on the rig taking all of those phone calls with Dwayne tonight. Agree?
Totally, yes.
A nice interview with Pat Forty, who tells it like it is and never mentions words. But, Paul, you got it wrong with John missing his Lipitor meds, which is a statin drug for reducing cholesterol. I'd prescribe something much stronger like lithium for his bipolar disorder. And
yeah, I don't know why I was thinking cholesterol when I said that, but I figured that's the least of his problems right now. Don't you think?
Agree. So shout out to Big Ten for drawing the line and taking action while the SEC so far has just issued that lukewarm boilerplate video. But are there any updates coming out of SEC today?
No. And listen, it's not like we're not close to those people. We are. Everybody knows that. It has been, it's fill in your cliche, but stone cold silent is the only way I would describe it. And I think that tells you the seriousness of the moment. The Big Ten has won the day. They have gotten all the columns. Stuart Mandel just wrote one about how the SEC is falling behind and the Big Ten was out first. That won't matter by midnight tonight when you wake up tomorrow and you put on ESPN. I'm pretty sure you'll see people like me talking about what the SEC did. If you don't, John, then something terrible is happening in Denmark, okay?
Well, my cliche is they need to discover their manhood. And by the way, Paul, why does Sankey need to navigate the SEC room? The Big 12 commissioner didn't.
Well, there is a difference, John, in the bit. But go back to Michigan, okay? That was a difficult thing to get across the finish line. This is even more difficult because you've got a chance. You've got a president. The president of LSU would be the guy in the room here, and the AD. And I don't know what they came in with. That's the challenge for Sankey. You don't want the president of LSU to appear like he really is a rogue actor. You don't want him to be calling the governor for his marching orders. You would hope that there would be some unanimity, but I think ultimately that is the issue. Thank you for the call. Otis Shea is up next.
Hey, Mr. Feinbaum. Thanks for always taking my call. Two quick things. I am heading back from Georgia, where I'm over here working my territory, and I saw the West Georgia University or West Georgia Technical College, and it just reminded me of Jim from Crestwood when he would always talk about the water buckets, and it just brought back a memory. My second thing is this whole issue with Greg Sankey basically issuing a blanket statement. Here's the thing, and I learned this word from my twin girls just, fairly recent, is duped, meaning that he got suckered into going to a 9-game schedule. He got suckered into, doing these things where he's not making a statement, but yet would it not benefit him after going to a 9-game conference schedule to want more playoff teams? Because you know the SEC is going to beat each other up. But also the fact that he doesn't have anything that he's saying about this whole pro players. I mean, he was, 4 or 5 days with a Bediako. So we're kind of quickly approaching that.
Well, let me say this about Commissioner Sankey. He's been very consistent on this, and primarily with amicus briefs. But the issue isn't. I mean, we know how he feels. The difference is this is the entire league coming together, and everyone has to be heard, and that's what I think is going on right now. I don't know what LSU walked into this meeting with. I promise you, some lawyers in Baton Rouge made a lot of money ratcheting up some billable hours to prepare President Roos for this meeting. We'll take a short break. Back with the final 30 minutes on a busy Tuesday afternoon.
You're listening to the Paul Feinbaum Show podcast.
Welcome back in. Final 30 minutes. AJ is up next.
Hello, Paul. Can you hear me, Paul?
Hey, John.
Yeah, Paul, if you could inform this AJ from Atlanta, Paul, that he's committing copyright infringement on my name, Paul, I would appreciate it. Now, hold my coffee, Paul. I don't want to spill it, because I'm going to segue on over here to this curmudgeonous psychopomp from St. Louis, Missouri. You want to know about my program, young man? Let me tell you about my program. They're going to kick your tail, I can promise you that. But I tell you what, young man, John from Missouri, you go over there and you get in that Toyota Tundra, and you put you some gasoline in it, and you put that dead program in the back of your truck, and you haul it to its afterlife because it's dead, young man. You talk about somebody that's an imbecile? Are you kidding me? You need to wake up and smell your own coffee, because I'm going to tell you something. It's just getting started, young man. And I cannot wait for this football season, because I'm going to hear you cry, and you'll be that cry baby that you're always talking about, young man. But let me tell you, you curmudgeonous psychopath, you're dead to me. Your program's dead to me. And you need to wake up and smell the coffee. Over and out. And more damn Eagle.
I don't know why I'm laughing. Cody is up next in Texas. Hello, Cody.
Hey, bud. How you doing?
We are doing great.
Good. So what do you think about, and I'm actually in Martinsville, Missouri. I'm a Texas Longhorn fan. So what do you think about A&M's future after the number one recruiting class they just had?
I have been on Texas A&M's future since the day they ended up with Mike Elko versus Mark Stoops. That was a great day in Aggie land, and I think I've said this to him, he's one of the smartest coaches I've ever dealt with. I think he's one of the best. That program still hasn't quite taken that final step up to the top of the flagpole, but I think they're on their way.
Okay. So do you think they win a national championship in the next 2 or 3 years?
That is a difficult thing to do, to predict. I think they're certainly in a position to do so. I'm not going to boldly predict that but I think they need to advance in the playoffs next, and I think they're very capable of that. But I think they will be knocking on that door. I feel that confident.
Right, sir. Thank you. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, it's the easiest thing in the world to say yeah, but I think A&M, I want to make sure there's no curse at A&M. It seems like something's always happening since the late 30s, but I really do like what they're doing. Let's check out Donnie in South Carolina next. Good afternoon.
Hey, Paul, how you doing today, sir?
Donnie, we are well. Thank you.
Look, it's been a long time since I've talked to you. It was back when Deshaun Watson played for Clemson.
That's been a while.
Yes, sir, it has. I think I've had about 11 grandkids maybe since then. But
you've done better than Deshaun.
Yeah, I bet you I did. I had 4 daughters, and my next to the oldest, she passed away in 21 to COVID.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
But she had 2 daughters, and her oldest daughter had a great grand 5 months ago. But something bothers me, Paul, and I got a grandson. He plays senior football and wrestling this year in high school, and all my kids is in sports. But something really bothers me, and you've done it, and every person I've ever heard on television has done it. They brag on Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. And I don't understand that. We don't know that up until they got caught, we don't know that everything they won before then, they won it cheating. What do you think?
I believe Brady was really the key to that, and I think that was proven when he went to Tampa. I am not well versed on Deflategate and all the other things. I mean, Belichick is a little bit like Lane Kiffin, without any ounce of personality. He's always been around scandal. He's always been around controversy. But I tend to think that they may have given them an advantage, but I have a hard time believing that's the reason why he won 6 Super Bowls and I think played for 8 Super Bowls. Hey, thanks for the call, Donnie. Really do appreciate it. We are going to check in with Mike next in Georgia. Hey, Mike.
Hi, Paul. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering, how will any rules that the SEC or the Big Ten come up with hold up any better than NCAA rules? All it's going to take is some lawyer to some athlete, like one of these guys coming from the pros, and say, "Hey, you can't do that. I've got my rights, and I need to be on the team." I mean, I don't know how. What power do those conferences have?
Well, here's what you hope that happens, Mike. You hope that when you are a member of a great institution like the Southeastern Conference, and you sit in that room with your colleagues, and we're not talking about football coaches whose job it is to win at almost any cost. We're talking about men of great resumes, learned folks who all have doctorates, sitting around who are supposed to care about things beyond the final score, and you are giving your word. And 15 of those presidents, men and women, decide today, maybe as we're speaking, to vote to rule this against the grain of the SEC and the foundation of what the league stands for. You're going to have to trust that most of those people are going to instruct their athletic directors to instruct their football coaches. You cannot do this. The president of a university is the final word. It isn't the football coach. Now that was different, has been different on a number of schools over time. There is no place in America where the football coach has more power than at LSU.
Okay, yeah.
I will say this, Mike. You heard Kirby Smart say what he did today, and the reason why Kirby Smart said what he did today is that he respects the president of that university, Jerry Moorhead. Not only does he respect it, he used to be a student of his. Moorhead, who was a U.S. attorney before he went to academia, taught Kirby Smart in an advanced class. Lane Kiffin doesn't care about the president at LSU. He probably doesn't even know his name, because Lane Kiffin knows if he has a problem, he runs down the street to the governor and says, "I need some help." And that governor down there, who's on his way to probably getting reelected by acclamation as long as Kiffin wins games, is going to do what he wants him to do. We're up against the break. Thanks for the call. We'll be right back.
Thank you for listening to the Best of the Paul Feinbaum Show podcast. Watch the Paul Feinbaum Show weekdays from 3 to 7 Eastern on the SEC Network. Plus, you can listen and watch on the ESPN app.